The Dove Network welcomes you to the following presentation of Double Dropped It Podcast.
Yes, indeed. It's DDK Saturday night. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great time wherever you are around the world. We are coming to you live through the power of your internet. And we got some guests that are all the way on the other side of the world taking their time out to be here tonight, and we greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great Final Four weekend. Please, no updates. The game's recording. No updates. You will be banned. I got to watch it later. But we got two great guys that are coming on here. Had to make a little bit of a change tonight. Drip Belts will not be able to join us tonight. He's tired. So we'll have our two great guests here, Colin with C4 and Groovy G, announce some things, show off some stuff, and have a great, spectacular time with these two great gentlemen of the hobby, two great belt makers, two great humble people, and they're joining us here tonight. We're ecstatic that they're able to join us and take 45 minutes to an hour out of their day to be with us, which I so kindly appreciate. As you know, it is. Let me welcome in my co-host of Double Dropkick Podcast and a good friend of mine, Mr. Ethan Thompson. What's up, buddy?
What is going on? Happy Saturday.
Saturday night, DDK in the house. Throw up them DDKs. How's it going, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing, brother. I'm 6 feet above the ground another day, and it's about as good as I can ask for.
You can't beat it. Can't beat it. We got an exciting show tonight. The Belt Makers round table.
Right?
Well, half of a round table, maybe. Or one fell out of the chair, I think.
Yeah. One took a nap.
He's sleeping. So we got our other two that are going to have us a kick time and some great announcements tonight, as well as don't stick around to the end. We have a major channel announcement about this show that you're not going to want to miss as well. If you're new to the program, please do us a great favor. Pause right now and just go down to that thumb button. Just hit it. Just click that thumbs up button. That does a lot for this program. And then if you like this show and you like the belt hobby, you like wrestling content and all the things that we do, make sure you like and subscribe, and then tune in each week, Saturday night, 8 p.m., and comment, because each one of your comments is a part of the show. You're a part of the show. It's for you, about the belt hobby, and we thank you for joining us tonight. Let's get into it, and let's bring them on. We can't waste any more, man, because we got these guys time, and they're halfway on the world. We got to bring them on. Our first, everybody knows the big dog that we had on last week. Had such a great time. We didn't get to talk everything with him. We had him on was it a week or two ago, to a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody knows him. He is Groovy, and he is the G. He is on this week's. Should I announce it? That he's already in Playgirl magazine for this week. We got him. We got the edition. We got the pictures. We'll show him off tonight. Let's welcome in Groovy G to the program. What's up, Groovy?
Good morning, gentlemen. Or should I say good evening to you?
Yeah, good evening to us. It's just, we were talking about this. It's so wild. I mean, we are just getting our Saturday night underway here, and you are waking up to a glorious day on the beach there in Australia, a little after 10 a.m. there.
It is just gone 9 past 10. Beautiful Sunday morning here. I'm at Bud's Beach down on the Gold Coast, Australia. Another cracking day down here. We've had a bit of rain around of late. We had a couple of cyclones down here, just the end of the cyclone season, but oh my goodness, Mother Nature has turned it on today. It's a cracking day down here. People are out walking their dogs, having some cups of coffee, taking the jet skis out for a bit of a run around. It's going to be a fun Sunday.
Spectacular. I could listen to you and him talk with y'all guys' accents. It's just, and then all of us dumb Americans go, top of the morning to you, and we all screw it up. So
shrimp on a barbie.
Shrimp on a barbie.
Well, let's get our other guest in here. He is the owner, proprietor, the brains of C4 Authentic Belts, the man who gave us the official partnered Crumb Ryan Big Gold. Let's welcome into the program our good friend, Colin from C4 Authentic Belts. Hey!
Yeah, I wish I could say the same as Greg did. I spent all morning running around looking for eggs. We got daylight savings, so everything's an hour later or earlier,
right?
And shops didn't open. So yeah, and Melbourne weather's kind of the opposite to Gold Coast weather. You're in paradise there. I'm in I don't know, Hell's Kitchen, I guess.
They're
beautiful weather where we are, and 6 degrees in the morning, and now the sun's starting to come out, which is a rarity. So yeah, I guess that's why we work so hard.
Yeah, he's
Melbourne for you, 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah. He says he's in Surfer's Paradise. We're on the coast of North Carolina. We get some pretty good waves. We don't probably get them as big as they do off the Australian coast at all. I mean, our big waves come mainly around head high, but then we get them big ones when the hurricanes come in, which was quite often. But we love our surfing out here too. We're glad you two could join us today. we want to jump right in this and say hello real quick to everybody that is watching. A lot of people have tuned in to be a part of this and to say hello to you guys. Andy Bolger, what's going on? Richard Ward in the house. Hello to everybody. Deuce Legends, a great review guy, just had a new review on his channel. Christopher Rains is all. Show me. What's up, brother? You new to the show? Love your picture. Make sure you like and subscribe. And again, everybody, if you're watching, please pause and just scroll down to where you're typing in and do what, Ethan? They got to hit that.
You hit that like, subscribe, and share button. You know, it helps us out, man. We appreciate it. We appreciate all you guys.
Even if you don't want to subscribe to me, we don't put out weird notifications or anything like that, just when we're going live. But the thumbs up does help us. We appreciate that. Show me. Welcome into the program. Glad you are here. Christopher Rains. Lisa, hello. Hello,
Lisa. Hello, Chris.
Chris is... Hey, Keith. Keith is in the house. Big dog. Can't do the program without Jim. What's up, Jim? Mendoza.
Jim?
Raf Belts. Who brought back y'all's show the other night? Look, there's... Hello. Hello. I'm Scott. What's up, Scott? One of the great names, Scott. Pretty good. How you doing? Holding up the big gold as well. Show me 17 watching, hitting that like button. Yeah, we've got 42 and over on Twitch and maybe a little over 72 right now, and more will come in as they do. Hello, welcome, Wrestling. How you doing? Good to see you, buddy. As always, CJ, the man. How you doing? Over from wrestling, Northern Wrestling. How do I say it? Yeah. Jim's in the house. Platinum Swords is here. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Great to see you. Hey, Forever Classic. What's up, buddy? That is David Babel with his new channel. Check out Forever Classic. How's he doing? Chris Aarons, we appreciate you in here. Thanks. I appreciate it. Don't congratulate me. Congratulate Duke. But yes, congratulate Duke on the Oh, you did say that. Okay. I thought you said for me. Yeah, I'm hoping they make it all the way tonight, but no updates. Can he find the G spot? Women want to know. Oh, Groovy G, can you hit that G spot?
I can't reveal all of my secrets, I'm afraid.
Oh, we don't. Ooh, somebody hit it there. Hey, we got our big old Alston in the house. How's it going, buddy? And Dylan is here. Richard Simpson. Hope your daughter is doing good. You've been going through an awful big-time battle. She's in our prayers. Hello to the young one if she is watching. Take it day by day, and prayers. Good things are coming your way. Dylan, what's happening, buddy? Let's get weird. Oh, all right. Let's do it. Groovy G, take that shirt off and let's see what you got there, buddy. Stone Cold in the house. That's right. Devil's baby. Dude it on. Hey, Chris Sims. You guys know Chris Simmons over there?
Hey.
Man, we got a lot of Aussies in the house tonight, man.
Right?
Oh, I love Australia. I love Australia. And everybody wants to know, we'll talk about the tariffs, if that's going to affect some of y'all's belt making stuff and belt stuff. We'll get into that a little bit. Yes, two of the two great big gold makers. They make two great versions of something that is great. Hey man, no problem. Thank you for joining in. Great hello to her. Also, we also got to have Andy Bolger, Daisy, little cat. She always watches the show. So everybody wave to little Daisy. She gets up there for whatever it is. She likes our voices. She likes the show. She likes all the little graphics. So we appreciate her being in there. My little guy that's blind, he likes watching my voice, listening to my voice. Locke. So the first question I think a lot of people ask before we ask what you did is everybody's going crazy over these tariffs, and I guess everybody's going crazy over this. If not to get political, but United States is just trying to level the playing field, which they've been getting hammered for, quite frankly, over 35 years, and just trying to get some fairness, which I can understand. But people are seeing belts go up on WWE. And I think that's a little premature. I don't think that has anything to do with the tariffs, because actually the tariffs don't start until midweek and production and all that kind of stuff. But I just think they're raising the price for West Romania. But how, for you two guys as belt makers and getting your supplies from different places and different things, and then dealing with sending things to the U.S., how does tariffs affect you guys? Either one of you first, or do you, Groovy G, how does it affect you?
Not so much me, I don't think. I will do a trick, and Reggie Parks actually wised me up to this little trick, and I suppose it keeps the tariffs at bay, but it also keeps any curious postal workers out of your packages as well too. I'll often declare my stuff as undervalue, under what it actually is, when I'm exporting it. So hopefully when people are getting it, you don't have to pay that extra import tax on top. And hopefully it keeps postal workers out of it as well too. I know that's what Reggie used to do with me. He used to undervalue his belts when he would send them over to me, just so you don't attract that import fee. And like it keeps the curious postal workers out of your package as well too. But I don't think it's going to have a massive impact on me as a belt maker. Like, a lot of my stuff's pretty small, and we're just sending it off to other belt collectors. I don't know on a larger scale how it will impact things, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, as well too. Here in Australia, we will have tariffs on things that we import, because we've got a standard minimum wage here. I think our minimum wage is something like, and Colin may know a little bit more, he's probably got more of the business brain than I do. Our minimum wage here, I think it's probably close to $25 or $30 an hour. So that's a guaranteed rate that you're going to be getting. So even our the waiters and waitresses and bartenders and stuff, they don't work for tips here in Australia. They work for a minimum wage. So that's the stuff that we're making here, because our people have a minimum wage here. When we're importing cheaper stuff, that's what tariffs are meant to be for, to give us a level playing field on our tariffs coming in here. So I don't know. It'll be a big question. We do have a trade agreement with America, and we did have a free trade agreement with America for a while. I think our interests are very similar, but I guess it's a long game to see how things will turn out. Like I said, Colin's probably got more of the business mind than what I do. But just for my little replicas that are going out there, there won't be too much of a problem with the tariffs, I don't think.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to jump off, and I think that the stock market going up and down, and the stock market's just selling off what things are not going to be, and it's going to pop right back up. But I mean, the stock market's not crashing; it's not going on. People are overreacting. When we had a much lower drop back in 2022, and people tend to freak out of that. That's just money being moved, and America's thing is they want to move some manufacturing back here. From a lot of things, you go over to Japan, and I know I go over to Japan, and I go over to UK, and I go over to Germany. You don't see American cars being driven around there, but you see them all over here, and that's because of the tariff stuff and the some things that they don't even allow over there. And the playing field is just kind of trying to be enailed. And when we send our eggs or our dairy products from farmer stuff, and I know about that farming, and if at Mendoza, if you'd like to get a little bit of education on that, I can gladly talk about that. 140% off of all our dairy products on our crop to go to Canada, when reciprocal, nothing. That's a little bit unfair, and people need to kind of understand some of these things and how it benefits in the long run, and we'll see how it goes. But from a belt standpoint, Colin, how is it affecting you? We heard from Groovy G. Will it be affecting you guys at C4 Belt?
Well, Groovy did a good job explaining it all. For me, I've got a lot more, I guess, different components, because it's the whole kind of belt, and then leather and things like that. But a lot of that's mitigated, because we don't. There's not much importing from America comes in. It's more the exporting, and basically all the customs are America and UK. But yeah, there are. We're working our way through. There are a couple of tricks, like Groovy says, and things like that, which. I don't want to confirm or deny, but I'll be doing my best to try to keep the prices down, particularly when it comes to shipping. It's a work in progress. We always try our best to keep the prices down as much as we can, and it affects both ways. Sometimes it's a cost that I have to bear if there's something increased, and I try not to pass it on to the customer as much as I can.
I understand that. It's not about that. It's about when we're selling and trading our cars over there for them to buy, we're buying all their stuff. It's only right for you to have an equal supply tariff for our stuff going over there. That's kind of what it's about.
Yeah. Well, thinking about it this way, I guess the tariff, if we were talking about 10% and things like that, that's still much lower than other countries charge us, in Australia as well. What we charge other countries when it comes to that.
Yep. So with the belt making business, I wanted to, and I've got this question I'll ask is what is the biggest annoyances you guys have when it comes to dealing with people and not marrying a necessarily thing or something that people don't understand when they're buying a belt from you or something that you constantly have to keep explaining to people when it comes to being a belt maker and supply. What's one thing that you're like, man, I'm having to say this like 50 times every week about it? Colin?
Oh boy, I thought to get Groovy G to go first, but yeah, there's a lot of things. My one in particular, because I've introduced something that's totally new, totally unheard of into the belt hobby. So I'm coming from a totally different industry in terms of jewelry and silversmithing, saddlery and things like that. So the hardest thing for me is without understanding that this main point, then you get compared to what the other normal belt makers are, or the more contemporary belt makers are. So it's hard to, like, when you get questions like, oh, how much does it weigh, or how sharp are your graphics? It's like, oh, we're building, we're making jewelry. The big gold just sits outside of the regular belts. It's not the same. I'm not going to be. It's even when they tried to replicate it, like Jamar tried with his, and Milliken and things like that. They couldn't do it, and I leave that part alone because that's, those belts were used in the ring. They're just as famous as it needs to be, or as they are, and that's what makes the belt the people and things. But mine is, to explain my belt, I guess. First thing, you got to get the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And realize the book is only the first step to understanding what we've done or what we're doing. So once you get the book, you start to understand a little bit of the versions. You understand a little bit about the history of it all and things like that. Hopefully, you can research into silversmithing itself to understand that these things are not replicas. Right? That's the other thing. Oh, it's a replica or accuracy. It's like, okay, if I showed you 1 square inch of my belt, and you compare that 1 square inch to the original, they'll teach you something about accuracy. Right? The fact that the whole thing is made like that, made exactly like the original and from the same bloodline, that's authenticity, not necessarily accuracy. Well, although it is accurate by DNA. And then you take it a step further with all the improvements, and every time we do things, it is quite similar. However, you need to view the belt as this is another big gold. It's not a copy of the big gold; it's another big gold. And then if you want to take it even a step further in authenticity, you actually have parts of the big gold in your belt. So how much more accuracy can you think it's going to be? You see? And then you go, oh, but it doesn't weigh this much. It's like, well,
Right.
It's not zinc. It's not industrial recycled hubcaps. Right? It's actually jeweler material. And it's a German silver. I can make sterling, and I may have some use. We are working on a real sterling silver. It'll take a lot of time because the cost is quite high, and the customer who's sponsoring this will take some time to pay for that. So in the near future, or not too distant future, you actually have a real solid sterling silver big gold.
Right. Austin, I don't know where you got this figure from, but there's never been any wrestling belt just about in history that's weighed 30 pounds. The original WCW, if you're talking about the Crumrine, was the original Crumrine, and it was only I've got a picture of it somewhere, and I'll update it.
8.7 pounds, Austin. You got to get that book. You got to do a bit of look up on the post from Conrad.
Yeah, I have the actual picture that Conrad had sent out to a couple of people, and it was like 7 point something, whatever.
8.7 pounds.
I think. Do y'all ever remember he put it on a? Let me see if I.
Scale.
Yeah, he put it on a scale in his house, and I've got it somewhere right on here. Let's see where that is. Right.
So so while you're looking for that, I'll try to explain. Metal density is the material weight. It's the density of the actual or the quality of the material. So when you're using German silver, that's the alternative to sterling. Behaves almost exactly the same, particularly for engraving, as you can see on there. Is it 8.7 pounds?
8.78, 8.7 ounces. 8 pounds, 7 ounces is the official weight of the Crumrine authentic one. I don't know if any belt has ever been 30 pounds.
Some of those network logos that come from the bootleg market are 30 pounds. You know.
Yes. When you look at the material, can you really afford 30 pounds of sterling silver? You see what I mean?
No worries, Austin. You good, baby?
I can make 3 belts of that much if you want. You know, but the main thing is
that's
what
right.
kind of gauge. So gauge the gauge of the actual material and the quality of it. So it's the same gauge. It's in thickness in terms of what the original is. And the work and the labor in there is just the same. The only other thing is it's sterling. It's not sterling. Sorry, it's German silver and engraved, but also it's plated with sterling silver as well. Right, and that's the secret in the rodeo industry that no belt maker no contemporary belt maker can match. It's a industry secret. Right. So if you read the book, understand this is a giant belt buckle. Every single specialized technique in the rodeo engraving belt buckle industry has been used. So there's countless of techniques, expertise, over 30. Put the team's numbers in the air, you look like 60, 70 years of experience in there. That's all gone into this belt. So to say, oh yeah, how much away? How's the etching? It's like it's you're comparing very, very different things, and also it tells if you take a macro shot of our belt, as in really zoom it in. The more you zoom it in, the more details you'll see. Whereas
it's unbelievable. From somebody that's even seen the actual Crumrine, it doesn't look today like what it did back then. That belt after Ric Flair got that actual belt, I mean, it looked completely different after 2 months because of all the sweat, the constant use, the tarnish, the things like that, not taking care of the belt. It looks completely different. But I've said this many times on this program that I've never seen a more beautifully made belt than this belt, the C4 right here. I mean, it's absolutely stunning in every way. It really blows you away. And you see the detail and you see the hand technique in it, and you can see just everything that silversmith put into it, but it just overwhelms you. And I've even told many people that if I had to run out of this house in a fire and only grab that or my Reggie WWF Winged Eagle, I'd be grabbing that. It's that it hits you just different when you open. It's so perfect that I don't even let nobody touch the plates. They look at me when they come in here. I said, "You touch them plates, I'm gonna smack you." I mean, it's that. I love it that much. I slept with it on my couch. The day I got it, I was feeling so bad that day from a treatment, and I fell asleep with it on my chest. I love that belt. And, then you've got the spectrum to where this guy down below here, Groovy G, produces one of the most affordable Crumrines, big golds. And it's absolutely spectacular what you can get, and what you can do with that by putting it on real leather takes it to a beautiful level too. So you got two great extremes here with things. And Groovy G, you had just announced that you had got you had posted and said last week that you got a new stock in, right? Tell us about that.
Yes, of the dual plated ones. I've only got a couple in, probably about 10 or so. I have sold a couple of them. There are a couple of people waiting around for them. But if you're after a dual plated version, I have got a couple left in stock still. Just go to the website, www.groovygreplicabelts.com. You can order through there. And or if you want to see what else I've got the gold version as well too. So go through the website. That'll be your best bet. Just with belts, I think going back to what Colin was saying, a lot of when you're selling belts, and you guys will know once you've been around the hobby a long time, there's a few things that pop up all the time with new collectors coming in, and everyone's been in that same boat as well too. You come into the hobby, you don't really know all the ins and outs of it, so the common questions will come up. How much does it weigh? How thick are your plates? All of that kind of stuff. I personally don't think weight is a huge issue. You're talking about the original Big Gold and how much that weighed. The leather on a real belt, will add significant weight to it as well too. I've had particularly those new network logo replicas from the WW shop. You put them on real leather, they are just as good as any real belt, just as heavy, just as sparkly. So any of those WW network logo belts, all of those new ones that they've got, if you put them on real leather, they're just as good as any real belt. And that's why I suppose you don't see many bootleg spinners, you don't see many bootleg UFC belts, you don't see many bootleg of those WW belts. Yeah, people will do the base plates for them, but you don't see a whole lot of the complete ones because the replicas are better than any bootleg. I know the UIC replica is better than any bootleg is going to get. It's thicker, it's heavier, it's almost exactly the same as what they're using on TV. So if you put that on real leather, that's exactly what you're going to get. With the plate thickness, like Colin was saying, our belts are a little bit different because the silver's only a few millimeters thick and it's actually engraved into it, so it'll get that different effect as well too. So I think it's more of an education of people when they come in, that things like weight, things like how thick plates are, things like if it's been gold plated or whatever, that they're fine questions to ask. I think it's just up to us rather as the belt community, just to steer people in the right direction, not blasting people like this person wants to know about weight or this person wants to know about etching.
Right.
It's more about just educating people, just like weight's not the be all and end all. Plate thickness probably isn't the be all and end all, and particularly when you're talking about a big gold belt, like Colin's got the silversmith making it because it's a rodeo buckle overside, so your thickness isn't going to be the same as what the original was with an etched belt. So Colin's the only one really that will get that thickness, but the same with mine as well too. I had a silversmith make mine with German silver as well. That's the industry standard that they use with rodeo buckles. Like Colin said, you could get sterling silver. It acts exactly the same way. It just costs a lot more. So they use German silver just as to keep costs down, I suppose. But it acts the exact same way when you're engraving it. Then you can plate it. And like Colin said, he's got the secret Crumrine. They were silver plated as well too, which nobody else can do. That most of the other rodeo buckle makers will do nickel plating, which looks similar, but there's something different about silver, and silver will tarnish over time too. So Colin's Big Gold's more like a piece of jewelry, I suppose. And you see people out there getting like 8 millimeter thick plates or 6 millimeter thick plates, and you think, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to throw that around? How are you going to sit that on your lap when you're watching wrestling? And I strongly believe that belts need to be held, that you need to play with them. I know some people like to stick them up in the corner and just look at them and never touch them again. I'm more of a hands-on type of person. So you don't want things too thick. You don't want them too heavy. And as long as you can play with them and stuff, I think that's where the real fun is. But it's about education. It's about telling people that some things that have been written into the folklore of belt collecting, like HD and SD and that kind of stuff. There's some things that aren't the exact truth. Like there's no HD etching. Etching is either done correctly or it's not. So SD, HD, you want HDMI or whatever, but it's only proper etching or not etching. So just little things like that. I think we as a hobby we could educate the new guys coming in and just so we're all on the same page and we're all having fun. And if we are looking for the quality over weight or quality over the thickness of plates and looking at the actual quality of the plates that you're producing, That's where we as collectors will get the good stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Also, when we talk about this, we engrave. There's no such thing as carving about. Okay, that's what you hear out of Pakistan. Oh, we carve up and up carving, down carving. All right, give me 8mm, and I'll carve it like a birthday cake for you. All right, we engrave. So on that thin profile, or that exact profile, to engrave with that amount of skill and accuracy, and those countless of hidden techniques are in there. That's what the beauty of it is. Right?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about 3 types of up-down carving? All right, how about I tell you about the infinite amount of techniques we put into what a silversmith does? You see, but again, the cool thing about all this is it's not a negative thing. I love to explain this stuff because it takes the customer on a journey. You know, you actually educate, you learn a lot as you go through, and by the time you get to the belt, all those things, all those pieces are come together, and you get a true appreciation of it. So that's the beauty of this. That's what we strive to do.
Right, and I like Austin was talking about. He asked to explain the rodeo belt thing. That means the original Crumrine was made at Crumrine. That they were a belt maker, they were jewelry, rodeo belt making, and all kinds of other things that they did. But their silversmith there made belt buckles and things. That's what Crumrine is noted for. That's where the belt the belt buckle, quote unquote, thing comes from when they talk about it. It's just a larger version of a belt buckle, because that's how they make these belt buckles. Is silversmiths make them, and they're engraving them, and taking fine time with that. So, Colin, explain what you mean by that when you're talking about the belt maker, because a silversmith and just take a minute. Not a the long-ended version, but take a minute and explain that, what you mean by and explain to people that the silversmith is what's making this belt.
Exactly. So, Crumrine were one of the greatest rodeo buckle engravers in the world. They actually made a lot of buckles and things for Elvis, and they were the very, very best. Why it's called a Crumrine Big Gold, it was made by Crumrine, right? And that's what it is. It's the giant rodeo buckle, and also on top of that, what you buy are casts or die casts of the masters. So the master, like when you get a buckle, it's die casted, right? What are priceless in those buckles are the masters, the ones that were actually the first one off that was made by the silversmith. Like you say, when you look at Groovy's belt, they're equivalent to the die cast of the original belt. So his original belt was silversmith, right? All our belts are one-off masters. You see, so rope border, all those sorts of things. That's they're the original artist's work. Whereas if you send it off to a casting, which is like AFX and things like that, that's what you get. That's what you buy from copies. But what you have here is the original master. So, and why we do that is to keep that legacy, those skills alive, keep them building new teams of up and coming engravers, and giving them something that they can show the world and keep that up running.
Now, you just had talk about the leather thing that you just had that you're doing now with the leather supplier, the new thing that you're doing now.
Oh yeah, well the latest one, there's a couple. So the one behind me here, there's a piece of information I learned from Conrad, I think either early last year or late the year before, right? In that there was another strap. So the original Big Gold, they actually made another strap for it, and that's why you see Booker T and all that having a more of a black coloured belt, Scott Steiner and all that, right? Because it was never published. I only found out because Conrad asked me to make plates for that strap, before he decided to sell it for about $20,000 to an anonymous collector. Okay, so that was what the original Starcast Up Down Under was about. I was supposed to put some plates onto that lost strap, right, that the big gold had. I lost in terms of not posted, but that's what it was. So all the more contemporary, like Booker T, Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, and things like that, towards the end of WCW, that you saw the strap being more black. That's what it was. So that kind, because up until then I was very strict about it has to be just this color. It has to be only the original, because that's how it glows the best. But when I found out that information, I was like, okay, I'll let myself age a couple of straps. So that's the black. That's actually the original mahogany color, and then we've actually made that black with a lot of treatments, aging process, softening it up, roughing it up, and things like that. We had a customer want that, so we had that done. And then the next one here. Almost the most impossible thing to do is get the burgundy, the red brown right. Yeah. And the latest thing I've been working on is something called Sam Brown leather. So that's army style leather that is unseen in the belt industry because you're used to just the normal belts. This sort of leather, it actually can be spit polished. You can spit polish this, just like the vintage boots, and belts, and things they use in the army. But as you can see, it's a really beautiful kind of brown red in it, right? So you've got Cordovan and things like that. I've got a Cordovan things. This actually is a lot more specialized and a lot more makes your gold pop a lot more. So I've only got a few of these, and I'm actually going to release it with my next, I think my next 3 or 4 straps that I'm sending to the customers. So you're going to have a nice little surprise there, and then I'll formalize that too. So when you look at leather, it's not just leather. All leather's not the same. All right. So this particular leather was actually custom made, and you'll know by certain things that the grain is really, really tight. Right. So that leads. It's really, really tight, finished leather. That leads to things like polishing and things like that. It doesn't wear with polish. Right. If you take a normal belt that you normally in the industry and things like that, most celery leather can do that as well. But when you start scrubbing on it, it starts to wear. Right. It starts to, what do you call it? Lose its color. Whereas this one, when you do a proper spit polish on it, it'll be the most floppiest, shiniest thing you'll ever see. It'll be like a mirror. It'll be like glass. Right. So that's installed for the next batch of belts.
So for you two belt, Groovy, what's the biggest misconception that you get from customers about the Groovy G belt that you have?
Well, because mine is actually cast off of one that I had made. A lot of times people will ask for little modifications on mine, but I can't do that because it's being cast off one that's already handmade. I'd have to go back and make a whole other one brand new again. The other thing is, I think just the style, and particularly that the chevrons, that wriggle behind the letters on mine. That's where I got most of the feedback from mine, that it isn't exactly the same. So you can see all those arrows in there. Because on the way that they do it, it's literally they'll have a hand tool and they'll go back and forward with it to make that V sort of chevron shape. On the original crumb rind, you'll see around all the flourishes and all the floral bits where they have done that. And then behind the letters, they've done that in a different sort of pattern. Whereas mine's straight across. You can see that that's how my silversmith that made it did mine. So that's probably, I guess, the biggest request that people have from mine. Hey, can you do this? Or can you put a WWE nameplate in? Or can you put this on it? I can't do it on my replicas because they're mass produced. You would have to get one fully made for that. But the other thing I think is the leather as well too. I think a lot of people like really floppy leather, and they like to see the belts that are like that on TV. But leather will break down over time. That's what makes it floppy. Floppy isn't necessarily
Has to break in.
best.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to break it in, and some people like leather really floppy, and they'll break it in, they'll work it in just like a baseball glove or anything else that's leather, I suppose. If you want to break it in to make it feel a little bit softer and stuff, it just certainly can. It's up to your own personal taste, but I think a re-leathered replica. If you're spending money on getting your belt re-leathered, you're going to have to go with one of the established guys, because they will certainly take care of you, absolutely. And like I've said all along, the guys that are doing proper re-leathers for belts are miles ahead of anything that you're going to get mass-produced out of China, miles ahead of anything that they're going to mass-produce anywhere. So I guess that's good for the hobby, being able to send it off to different people that are local and stuff like that as well too, because that's how you meet more people and you get your friendships going as well too. And then you never know, you might start talking and say, yeah, my favorite belt's this, and then down the line they might say, hey, I've just come across a friend that's selling this particular belt, and I remembered you because you said that you were interested in it. And so that's how you can start wheeling and dealing and get a few things that you might not come across.
Yeah, the thing that I always tell people about leather is what you're seeing on TV is not what you're going to get, and it's not the way that belt ever started out either. But those belts are being worn with body oil. They are getting sweat in them. They're constantly being held. They're constantly being put up in a bag and getting warm, which I tell people all the time when they come and they see the horse saddle leathers and stuff that we have. They'll, man, these are so smooth and it's flopping. That's because it's sat on, it's held, it's touched, it expands, it contracts. When you get a belt, you do not want it so floppy that when you wear it in even more, it's going to get even more floppy. You don't want it to where it can't hold the pull-ups up. You want it, when you got Reggie's belts, they're a little stiff when they come, and there's a reason for that, because that needs to get used to the environment. It has to breathe. Those pores in that leather have to adapt to the situation, and they have to get the moisture in your hands. They have to be, when you bend leather, there's moisture inside there, and those fibers that are releasing its own moisture that loosen up that belt. That's the way saddle leather on these horses and stuff gets so smooth and so lush and floppy, is because of that. And I tell people you can use mink oil, which is the best thing to use to try to loosen up and protect your belt. But when you first even get it, if you try to put a bunch of mink oil on there, that's not going to work to soften it up right away. That'll protect it, but the leather is only going to hold so much moisture and so much of that preserver. So it'll just sit on top of that, and you'll just be wiping excess off of that. Treat it the first time you get it, then let it break in. Let it break in over natural time and feeling of it and touching of it. It will naturally break in. But more product you put on something is not going to end up making it more floppy, because that leather can only hold so much in its pores at so much of a time. The best way to do it is the oils from your hand, bending it, holding it, getting it hot in an environment and warm, like walking outside with it, putting it up in a bag, then taking it out of a bag, made it sit in the sun for a little bit for an hour or two, that those leather pores will open up. Then you can touch it, and that oil from your hands will get into it, or whatever polish you want to put on. There's just all different techniques, and I tell people the same way you do it with a ball glove. What do you do with a ball glove when you get it? You're constantly smacking it. You're smacking it and smacking it. And then it gets that nice brown spot to it. What's that brown spot? That brown spot is where all those pores have opened all the way up and have got all of it in there, and it's loosened those fibers in there to get it nice and flexible and soft. And it just takes time. And people, I think, expect that. Like, I want my leather floppy. Get it right to me right away. And then they're asking for belts, and then they get it. Man, what's wrong with this belt? It won't even stand up with the plates on it. And that's because you're getting what you asked for.
Yeah, that's in the saddlery industry, or real leather industry, not just wrestling belts. It's a big no-no to overhandle the leather. The less you touch it, right, the better it is when you deliver it to the customer. Because the more you handle it, it's not perfect anymore. It's not pristine. Right. And also taking a step further with the big gold.
I want to see that.
There's a reason why it's double leathered, right? Not just because of quality. It is quality, but at the same time, it needs to protect those jewelry plates. You're protecting silver, gold, diamonds, and rubies. You can't put on a floppy leather. It doesn't hold right? Floppy leather is actually called failed leather. The leather's failed to hold its structural integrity, right? And that's probably another reason why the belt underwent so much damage after so long of using the leather. It starts to wear away. It no longer holds the belt up, and no longer protects the edges, no longer protects the plates, and hence that's how it gets more and more damage as you go, and that's why you start seeing the original is not as shiny or as pretty as it was when it debuted. You take it a step further too. There's a reason in the book and things like that, and TV, why you don't see HD shots of the original, right? Because they want to protect the techniques are involved. They want to protect Crumrine's work, right? They don't want to protect Victor Ortiz's work, right? You don't want to put HD photos of the original Big Gold up there, for all these other people to try to rip it off. Okay, so what you see, and I've got the book, it's so accurate. You're just seeing very low quality images of the actual Big Gold belt. Right? To get, you can make a shadow. It's basically a shadow of it. So yep, you're accurate in replacing the shadow, but you haven't actually scratched the surface when it comes to real authenticity. That's you.
Right. So before we get into some fun stuff, Colin, what is new going on for C4 and some of the stuff that you're going to be working with this gentleman here, Groovy G? You guys talked about it a little bit on there. Give what you want away. You've got some good stuff that you want to keep kind of tight to the vest, but what can you tell us is soon going to be coming between the two of you, what you guys going on? Because you dabbled a little bit the last time you were on the show here.
Yep, that's good. Well, very soon, my friend Groovy G will be able to unveil, I guess, C4 Groovy G presents Regiparks. And he'll update you on the mechanics of that. Yep. So I'll hand over Groovy when it comes to that as well. Personally, for myself, I'm glad to endorse this and help him, and really be able to do something that's that pays back to the loved ones of Regiparks rather than keep taking from him. Okay, and then if we've got any time, I can also show you some custom work we've done as well.
To show that. Groovy, did you want to expand on that too?
Well, it will be soon. I don't want to let too much out of not so much let things out of the bag. I don't want to, I guess, announce everything. I'm probably more once everything is. Once all the ducks are lined up in a row, and like Colin said, and Colin has helped me out here because Colin's way of doing business is very different than a lot of people in the hobby will do. This is about restoring a legacy. Okay, so it will have something to do with Regiparks. Again, this is for real collectors. It's not going to be about making money. It's about restoring a legacy, and it's also about for genuine real collectors who want to fill some gaps in their collection.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I've been talking to you both and a lot, Colin, for especially Colin for years, and knowing this has been in the works, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait it. I hope when it all debuts that you both come on here and let us debut it for you and show it off. But it's spectacular what you guys are doing and who you're doing it for. And I know the loved ones of Reggie's deserve that legacy. You've done that with the Ortiz family, and that's why the C4 has the Ortiz name in it as well. And you've protected that legacy with them and what they've done, and I know they've been appreciative of that. And I know the Reggie's family, loved ones and things and friends will be appreciative of this as well. Colin, you had this that you sent me that you made me this belt buckle. Do you want to talk about this real quick?
Yep. So
you get it here.
Into wearables. So let's say because at the end of the day, we have a whole belt buckle industry at our hands, and we haven't, rodeo and wrestling hasn't really crossed over until the big gold belt came. So now I'm starting to cross over a little bit more into wearables, as in So there's the big gold belt. That's the latest one. Sorry, I'll just a bit backtrack with the photos here.
That's okay.
So yep. So that's the latest one I've done with the black.
There you go.
And then here we go. This one we made with Jerry Gonzalez, Sensational Sherry's son.
Mhm.
And this is putting rodeo buckles into basically wrestling. So as you can see, that's a nice touch. We've finally got a good stamp, like a good
It's beautiful there.
like a what do you call that? A relief piece that we can put on. And as you can see there that's the
Sensational
that's on show, the silversmithing skills and expertise applied to making a sensational Sherry buckle. That was unfortunate about her ring in terms of it was beyond Jarrett's control that certain people, I wouldn't say with good intentions in their heart, trying to sell her what do you call it, Hall of Fame ring. So we figured, let's do something that we can control and no one can take away. All right, let's make something special for her, and that's what we made. This is a sensational Sherry buckle. As you can see, real hand engraving, real relief engraving in there. Even the black parts of that's textured. Actually, if you see it in real life, those black bits are actually textured, and that's called antiquing. You put the black on there, it's antiquing it. And we made something that Jared can hold on to remember his mum. And have a look. It's and we can do a lot of other buckles like this as well. If you have, and it doesn't have to look exactly like this. If you have something in mind, all you need to do is draw it on your phone or draw it by hand. Send me a picture, and then we'll have our guys work on it and puts our special touches and embellishes on that for you, as you can see. I think
they're really a beautiful piece, and you can see when you hold a handmade silversmith buckle in your hand, you can see details that will never show up in a photo. And even with those scrolls, see how the inside of the scrolls, you can see like the black part on there. They've all been cut out individually by hand with little jigsaws on the inside as well too. So those flourishes you see around, not on the border, but just inside the border, they will all be one piece of metal that a silversmith has cut out and then engraved in to make it look like that. So it's really, really remarkable and painstaking work. Even those little chevrons that wiggle around, you can see the Collins C4 stamp there as well too. That's all being done by hand, just going back and forth, no power tools. And,
I love that.
Yeah, so that's why the big gold is so different, because it was made by hand. That's why it's so different to all the other belts. Just getting back, and Richard Simpson, I just read his comment there as well too. Yes, restone your belts before you get them re-leathered. Richard, of course, I've had many a belt restoned by him. They're always a good thing to do. I think the belts that have more stones in it are probably better to restone. Those that only have a couple in them probably aren't you probably wouldn't have to go to that extra mile, but certainly those network logo belts or anything like that, if you get one of them restoned and on real leather, like I've said before, they're just as heavy, just as thick, just as good as any real belt. So the stuff that WWE, the shop, is producing now, and even the AEW replicas, that shows me, I think, that they know that they're making money out of it, but the people that are buying them want a consistent product and want a good product as well too. So the more that we hassle them about doing these good new belts that they're making, hopefully the more replicas we'll get out of them. But owning a little piece like that, I know the belts have always been expensive, but being able to have a little handmade, made by the actual Crumline family, maybe that's the crown jewel in your collection as well too.
Yeah, it's that piece is pretty amazing. And when will he has he already got it? Has Jared already got that piece? Has it already been mailed out, or
yeah, Jared's already got that. So
I know you're having health problems, and Jared, if you're watching, you're in our prayers, and I hope everything goes good with you, and enjoy that beautiful piece, and I hope you'll continue to post up pictures of it, and hope that'll keep your mom close. Colin, this question we got from Vinny says the secret method when dual play. Let's see. I think Vinny, are you talking about the silversmith? And Colin can get into each silversmith has his own techniques that he does not share with anybody, and those original techniques that Ortiz used when he did the original. There's some of those notes, but those are still gone too. So his brother trying to recreate it has to use his own techniques because each silversmith has their own techniques. And they keep them very close to their vest about how they do that because each one's a little different. Can you explain that, Colin? I think that's the question he's asking.
Yeah, so if you're talking about jewel plating, that's an industry secret kept by Crumrine.
Okay.
In the silversmith industry, but with the
how
techniques,
plating, yes,
that's right. And with the techniques with engraving. So it's not this carving business, up, down, whatever you want to call it, sideways carving like a birthday cake. No, it's actually
digging into an acid etch plate.
Digging, yes, it's not that, right? It's so there's no, you can't rip that off. So those techniques are actually born within the family. There was three. The three brothers who made that. There was Victor Ortiz, there was another Ortiz brother, and then there's Roberto. So what it is they taught each other the particular style, the particular engraving, that which they kind of invented, and then Victor brought that over to Crumrine, and hence all that kind of floral intricate work and things like that, right? Exists in Crumrine and became very famous. When he died, those techniques died with him in Crumrine. Jeannie learned a little bit. So Jeannie Crumrine, the daughter of Charles, and she made the Crumrine too, and she could only do as much as she can learn. It wasn't a total recreation of it. Although that's a beautiful piece in itself. You can tell that it was slightly different, or quite different.
Right.
We had to spend 5 years to recreate exactly how it was done, to the formations, the techniques, that 3D. Groovy always talks about the 3D part of it, right? So as you see, even Groovy's one, another silversmith tried their best, but they couldn't get that 3D look, right? It's something that's very special or very unique to the Ortiz family to get that 3D look. And then with the research that everyone else has put in from the book and everything else, we're able to reassemble that, and then recreate the actual big gold belt again.
Right.
There was sorry to interrupt you there. There was a question about our thoughts on the shop Crumrine. I don't mind it. I have seen it in person. A couple of things that I didn't like about it. I didn't like that it was so dull. I don't know why they would have done that for. It looks to me that it's a little bit squashed, like that perhaps they've taken a scan of the belt now. I think it's a great replica. My only question is they had about 20 years to do it. Why did they put it out now? But it's a great replica as well too. I think Big Gold fans are spoilt for choice at the moment, and there's always going to be people doing a different version. So you just pick one that you can afford and one that ticks as many boxes for you. And I think you're on a good path there.
Right.
Yeah. I would say if you were going to get a replica, it'd either be a Groovy G or a ShopRite. If you want to talk about accuracy to the book or what you see, because the book is, again, they're not high resolution photos and things like that. So the ShopRite accurately captures what you see in the book in terms of the basic shapes of and arrangement of what's in there. And also, the photos in the book of the belt that's almost 40 years old with all that damage. So basically, yeah. So when you, what they would have done is 3D scan that the original. If they did that, that's great. But they could never recreate the intricacy of the original big gold belt if you don't do it by a silversmithing. That I would take that over any kind of other bootleg belt. If I had to buy a replica, I'd take the the shop Ryan or Groovies. That shop Ryan, if you compare it to those pictures in the book and things like that, you'd say, yeah, that's more accurate than anything else because that's actually scanned from the original belt. I'll give you another tidbit. All you guys who've complained about the letters, the ION from the version 1 being smaller than the bigger one, right? I saw the original, all right? When this came out, I had it for 4 days. I did full forensics on it. It's actually, the V1 is actually the accurate one, if you want to talk about accuracy. Because those IONs, because the belt was flattened and then curved on that area, that was the accurate imprint on that cast they made. Right, so everyone who's corrected the IONs, you're actually not as accurate as the V1.
Right, yeah, because you got to spend quality time with that belt. Groovy, did you want to explain this real quick for 15 seconds? Explain this, and then I wanted to get into some other things before we let you two go. Talking about the electroplating, same method as the original.
Yes, so with Colin's one, the electroplating, like you said, so he has got, well, Crumline did a special technique to plate it in silver. Other silversmiths can't do it or don't do it. So that's why Colin's C4 Crumlines are as close as you're going to get to the original ones, because the Crumline family actually does this procedure of electroplating in silver that other silversmiths haven't been able to figure out.
Right. So we didn't get to talk a lot about, and we'll answer a couple more questions. We got a little bit more time with you, just not much more. But you guys wanted to talk, and I know Colin did. What is, and I'll start with you, Colin. What is your view of the wrestling belt hobby? What are some of the things that you kind of laugh at about the hobby, and some things that people get upset about and mad? The first thing that I want to ask you both is, and we'll start with this. When it came to, you saw the WrestleMania version that sold out and got quickly nabbed up by people. And then people were so mad that people were out there scalping. And actually the definition of scalping is reselling something within a quick turnaround for more profit. And you're getting a bunch of them. So people were out there flipping them before they even had in hand. And it made a whole lot of people mad because some people got 5, one person got 10, and they were flipping them. Did you see any of that in the hobby, and what's your take on, because I was asked that we want to know what belt makers thinks of guys flipping these belts so quickly and getting them all in and charging thousands of dollars more for the belt.
Yeah, I think when I look back, I think it's about when you get into the hobby, you go through phases. Like when you're new to it, you want to buy everything. You want to get your hands on really cheap stuff, and then then it progresses after a while, and then it gets to the ultimate part where you actually want the ring used belt or things that actually is authentic as possible. So, I think for the early collectors, with the scalping and things like that, they'd be the ones the most susceptible, more vulnerable to that, right? Because they would buy this. Right, but then as you have more experience in the hobby, after a few years, you're like, oh well, they'll come around again. Someone will be broken, will sell their belt and things like that, or someone would need some money, or someone's probably got sick of another one. That belt will come back again. So I guess for the early collectors,
already coming down on them. The price is already getting lower from what they were.
Yeah.
I've been saying right from the start, if you are desperate and you desperately want one of those belts, you will get one eventually. They made 700 of them, and you think, oh my goodness, limited quantity. Any big corporation making something that's a limited quantity, that's not limited. It's not going to make it more valuable or anything like that. Personally, I don't see the appeal of those belts, but I can see why people would want them, and if they're making a collection that way. But I think Colin hit the nail on the head. When you first start out, you see all these beautiful belts, and they're expensive, and you think, well, I want to get as much as possible, and then you end up buying things that the quality isn't as good. If I had my time over again, I would just be thinking about the 1 or 2 belts that I really wanted all above all others, and just save up and get the best version that I could afford. a lot of people they come into the belt hobby and they'll think, oh, they've made some connections with some people in Pakistan. I'm getting all these belts. I'll be able to flip these really quickly, make my money back, or even make some more money out of them. Belts from Pakistan are like like a car. As soon as you drive them off the lot, they're decreasing in value. You're never going to get your money back on a bootleg. You're always going to lose money. Real belts, on the other hand, made by Colin, made by Reggie Parks, made by Dave Milliken, they're always going to retain their value. So even if you think that, oh, I'm not going to be in the hobby forever, and some people get sick of things and then they'll move on to a different hobby or whatever, and that's fine as well too, but you're never going to get your money back if you're going the bootleg route. Doesn't matter how good a quality it is. And I think at the moment, and this is I guess where Colin and I are going to be coming in the future, when we're restoring Reggie's legacy, because there's collectors will start in with replicas, or they'll get the cheaper end bootlegs, and then when they get a little bit more into the hobby and start doing a little bit of their own research and seeing that you really do get what you pay for, spending a bit more money. But at the moment, I think the guys that are churning out the most popular stuff like Classic Shields and ORM, and I think there was another couple of guys as well too that are doing some good plates at the moment. Pakistani plates are etched just as thick, but they're still not as crisp as American plates. So you're still not going to be getting 100% quality, and you're paying a couple of $1,000s for it. So you're paying the price that you could probably get a genuine Reggie or Dave Milliken belt back in the day. So I guess this is where Colin and I are coming in, because there's a gap at the market now for those people that could probably afford a real belt, but they're not available at the moment because unfortunately Reggie's passed away and Milliken's not delivering. So I guess that's sort of the tier that we're looking at. With our stuff that we'll be announcing soon. But like I said, I don't want to give too much away or lift people's hopes up too much. I like to have everything squared away, all our ducks in a row. But yeah, like I said, Colin's all about getting family involved and reviving a legacy. And yeah, some legacies deserve a genuine comeback. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Ethan, what did you think of the WrestleMania 41 belts and the scam, the upset and the roar it gave the hobby?
It's twofold. I get it, the capitalism part, but
You're way loud. Turn down a little bit. Maybe it's me. Hold on.
How about now?
All right, go ahead.
I said it's twofold. I get the capitalism part of it, but I also get, I don't know. I think it's tacky. I just not a fan of it. So, but I understand people can do what they want to do. It's their money, and it's not like the belt is ever. Nobody's gonna 10 years from now. No, you're not gonna see a thread pop up. Like I said, I'm looking for a Wrestle 41 WrestleMania belt. It's just not.
Yeah.
My thing as well too, belts are expensive to buy and they're hard to store. So if these scalpers are buying 10, 15 of them, whatever, and you see them straight up on eBay, you just have to hold out for a little bit. Don't buy them at those ridiculous prices. Someone will drop them because they put a lot of, and then everyone will follow suit. They're expensive to buy and they're hard to store. So if you've got a heap of them.
Yeah, three days later, the price of that belt had already dropped by a couple $100. But the thing I said is look, that's the world we live in. It's going to happen with belts. It's going to happen with everything. But I'm not going to tell somebody what they can and cannot sell the belt for. That's their own business. And I'll also say is the market will dictate whether or not they sell it for that much. But I can't understand the people being angry about not getting one. Then their anger needs to be displaced for something else. The problem that I've had, and I did some research with this, and I did 2 or 3 days of talking with people and a couple phone calls. The thing that you got to be mad at is tell WWE, send a flood an email. Hey, release more than 700 of these belts. They're continually releasing more and more and more, but they're not going to push it too much to where there's not drumming up for it because they want that drummed up for it. The other thing that I found out that was pretty disturbing is the issues that are these collectors out there and these people that are main scout. They don't care about collecting the belt. They care about flipping it. They have inside information that I was told from this person who is this person that flips. He says, look, I get my heads up from Fanatics. So if they want to be mad at Fanatics. I have 2 or 3 reps in there that let me know when and the hour that the belt is going to go live. So apparently a lot of these collectors are knowing ahead of time when it's getting posted, when it's going live, to be ready to nab 5 to 10 at a time. So that's where your anger needs to be displaced at. Tell fanatics, stop it. Let WWE know what's going on with these guys. And then the other thing I'd say that makes it fine is one per household. How is that hard to do? So that everybody gets the chance to own that belt. But it's something that's very hard to police. But what I would say is that kind of made me mad. And that's all across the board. And that's in knife collecting, gun collecting. The people are going to have inside information, and I'll give you a percentage of the belts. So that part's going to be very hard to police. But what's not hard to police is one per household. That's how you stick it to scalpers and such.
What I think would be.
Oh, he's fading in and out a little bit. So as he comes back, Colin, we wanted to know from you. People are asking me, what is your overall perception from somebody as a belt maker that watches the hobby? What's your overall perception of the belt collecting hobby as you watch it for afar and a lot of the drama that goes on? And we'll try to get Groovy back here in a second.
That's it. I think one of the more, I would say, lack of a better word, I guess, sinister things that happen in the hobby is that you have various makers and that like to feed on people's pride or ego and things like that, really blow smoke up people's butts and make them think that they're in business with them. Right?
Shake it, Ethan. Shake it, Ethan. Yeah, he's sitting on there.
Yeah, and an early collector, because it's a lot of money, you think, oh, maybe I can save a bit, I'll get a little bit of a discount, or I can, I can pass it on to this, pass on some new customers, and I'll get some special treatment or whatever it is, or I'm designing this belt with this particular maker from eBay and things like that. Then I can make it rich. The thing is, they do it to everybody, right? So you're not the only one. You're one of many, many, many that they try to do this with, and then and you can see it because those same people would say and do anything, to down other belts, to troll, and to do all these sorts of things because they think they're in business with a particular maker or certain makers. Geez, it's like you sell your mum for like a $2 like a 2% discount from a Pakistani maker. It's not worth the loss of dignity.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Ethan, you want to build on that?
No, I think he hit it pretty well on the head. It's the outrage. The outrage is what it is. I think it's a lot of it has to do with the optics and the people involved, and like you said, just trying to. Everybody wants to be important in this hobby. So people are going to do and say what they wanted to say to make this. I got insiders from fanatics. I got blah, blah, blah. And it's a replica belt at the end of the day that is for WrestleMania 41.
Ethan, what's your advice to people about the drama and somebody that's been caught up in a lot of it and some heat from off of it, and some deserved, but some not deserved? What's your take on it?
I was a glutton for punishment back in the day. I was one of those guys, and honestly, I've lived and learned. I just block out the noise now because 90% of the people in this hobby, I'm sorry, I'm just sorry, I'm sorry, but 90% of these people in this hobby haven't been punched in the mouth, and there's a lot of ego. There's so much ego involved because it's wrestling. They want to have this like kayfabe persona, and they just want to have. And so it's just, you can't just have a civil conversation with somebody because it's going to turn into something else. So just collect your belts, find your niche in the hobby that you like, and just continue to move on. Otherwise, you're just going to get swallowed in the drama.
Yeah, because I don't blame the persons, right? I blame the manipulation. It's always the maker or so forth that has a lot more skin in the game to push someone's ego to a point that they'll actually do their bidding for them. You see, so you're no longer like you think you're doing you're running your business, and you think you're playing that maker, but really that maker is playing you. See, and that's I don't feel I feel I don't blame the person for acting out crazy and things like that. I blame the maker for setting up that situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of makers that push a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of makers that need to focus on their work, updates, scheduling people, and their backlog instead of worrying about reviews or this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. If anybody comes to you and said, "I heard you had a bad review," then you should just be easily able to show them, "Well, here's my inbox. They never contacted me about it. They wanted to make a bad review," or just show them, "Hey, we offered them a discount. We offered them a discount on next belt, or a little bit of money off because of the mistake," and then you move forward. But I think the going back and forth and constantly the drama with it, I think belt makers need to stay away from that. If somebody has a problem, you try to correct it because that's your business and that's what you're supposed to do. You try to say, "Hey, would you like $100 off, $200, or would you like some money off on your next belt?" That's how to correct an issue that handles. Not attack the person, not get mad, and just leave it at that. Don't be making a million posts, because people see all that time that you're wasting making all these posts and going after this and going after that. They're like, "Why aren't you working on the belts that I'm waiting such and such time for, or I'm waiting this and this time for, or I've not got an update about this and this and this?" That's what I think it is. And, no matter what business you are, people are going to hate on it. And if you're not, if somebody's not hating on you, you're not succeeding because people are always going to come at you. And
it's also the same troll. It's the same troll with a whole bunch of different user accounts. But they're all saying exactly the same thing, and it's not against your product. Actually, it's actually to help somebody else's product, and it's like, let's say, think about it for me in business. A person you can trust is someone who doesn't want nothing from you. Doesn't want to. Is not trying to manipulate you. So that's like someone like when you deal with me and things like that. I don't actually want anything more from you than you to enjoy what we have. If you understand it, if you have the funds for it and things like that, right? I'm not going to push you to buy things that you can't afford. I'm going to, if it's something that you've saved up for and wanted all your life, I want to make sure you have the right experience. Not necessarily, "Oh, yep, oh, thanks, brother. Oh, can you post this around everywhere? Can you do this and that?" You've noticed I actually stopped posting on all the other pages. I only post on mine because thanks to you, Kev, and all you guys listening, I don't need to go outside my page anymore. You've all come to me for the latest information and things, and I really appreciate that. And
my pleasure. Well, you're a friend, and like me and Ethan, your honesty and your forthright and your professionalism is what you're known for, and it's really easy to talk about somebody that does things the right way, and I put my name on the line with that belt. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I talked about somebody's work before, Leather Rebels. I thought some of the stuff that they done was, even on their type of big goal, was absolutely spectacular and above things. And then you come in and I looked at some of the stuff, and it's on a different level. And I love all the stuff that you got. And your page, and that's where people need to go to get the information. They don't need to ask other people in the hobby. And I keep telling, go straight to Colin if you have the questions about the belt. And before we get into some fun questions with you, what is the one thing that people get that you're constantly correct? What's the one thing that you want people to know about the C4 belt? What separates it from everything else? A 30-second or a minute to say, what is it that you want people most to know about the C4 that separates it, or maybe there's a misconception about your belt that you'd like to say?
Yep. Well, it's not a replica. It's a continuation. It's remaking. You're having another big old belt that's made by the family and the family and the bloodline of the original makers. And what it is what separates us is if you follow the path and get a belt, you're actually part of history. You're actually making history, and you're making a legacy. And that separates us from, and it's not necessarily a toy or a something of nostalgia. It's actually, yes, you're owning history, and you're actually contributing to the future. So that's what it is. And also, when you see it, and again, I can show you as many high definition photos as you like, but that doesn't explain what Kevin says when he's talking about the belt that he owns. It doesn't explain what other people have posted reviews, so they explain why they like it so much, because there's something about it that can't be really videoed or photographed. It has to be seen in person, and that's why people like Conrad and all the wrestlers that they get full of emotion when they see this. Unfortunately, Hulk Hogan, wanted to make some money of it, but that was out of my hands. But it was a funny experience. The person that gave it to him, he got his 2 cents out of it because he loved Hogan, and he had a really good time sharing that belt with him. Right, so don't hang that guy too much. He's, end of the day, it's about the experience and about enjoying wrestling belts and as well as wrestling. So, and one last thing as well, people say ring used. Who's to say I'm not going to make that Crumrine C4 Tears Crumrine big gold belt a ring used belt? Because that's number one on my agenda, bringing that back to competition.
Right. I think for me, and I've shared this with Ethan a bunch of times. I've shared it on this program. Is the C4? It is what it is. It's partnership with Crumrine. It's getting the cast pieces from the original onto this. It's being made by the Silversmith family that did the original. It's all those things that make it that special. And if that belt is that special of a belt that you want and then you need, then that's the way you go. But there's nothing wrong with going for a less expensive one. There's all levels of different hobbies, and it's no different into this one. Ethan, you got a question for Colin?
Just on the process of you doing the Crumrine from the aspect of you get it from the engraver, so I want to order one right now. Let's just say I order one right now.
Yep.
What's my wait time,
Okay.
and what can I expect? Like, I'm not an update guy, so like, how does that whole process pan out?
All right, very simple. It's a journey. One is I talk to the person who wants the belt, or they talk to me. First, I've got to get an understanding of how much they know about the belt, because I don't want people to be disappointed or misconceptualize things. So I provide them some people. I've even bought a book for them and just sent them via Amazon. Okay, so they can understand exactly what it's about and what they're getting. Mm-hmm. It takes about 120 hours of engraving to make your plates. Okay, and that's no power tools. It's like this. Okay, not to mention plating and the rope. When we talk about the rope goes on first, not last. That's not an afterthought. That's why everything is exactly how it should be. Same as the other relief pieces. So 120 hours, and leather and plating and all that sort of stuff. It's about 4 months to make, but then we spend about 2 months quality checking, and so if there's something a little bit wrong or needs to be fixed, that blows out the time a little bit more. But we don't want to release anything without it being perfect, so we say roughly 4 to 6 months to have that done. If there's anything, and then we have a relationship. I talk to you. Even if you want to chat, we do that. You can chat with me, things like that. I'll tell you what's going on, particularly, are they personally or in terms of production wise, and things like that. I can't give you photos of production pictures because it's a silversmith scenario. We don't do that. I'll do it. I'll send it to you. A really detailed, 1.8 f 1.8 pictures. That's like photography when it's done. So you have a beautiful photos to publish. But yeah, but again, that's how it works. It's it's everything's. We try to give enough time to make the best product we possibly can. And
how about like payment? You want it full up front? What do you take? PayPal? Do you want a 50% up front? How does that?
All right. So on the website, you can start the process with, I think it's a 10%, but that's on a payment plan if you want to pay slowly. We put the order into production once you hit 50%, because we have to be able to at least cover enough costs to start the ball rolling. Right. So once you hit 50%, it goes into production, or you can just pay the 50% and it goes straight into production, and then your 4 to 6 months starts from there. So let's say the latest one, we've had a customer which, I never thought it would happen, but it did, wanted to upgrade to the sterling silver, and that's going to take a long time to pay, but we're preparing for that. So, these things, we don't try to rush people to pay. We don't rush, we don't try to, knee jerk you to make a decision on the fly. We just want, we just want you to do things with you as comfortably as possible, because we know how much it means to you, and that's how we operate.
Yeah, because people understand how many years this took to get to this stage. I mean, many process, many relationships, many talking with people, from leather people to the Ortiz family, to your partnership with Crumb Ryan, to talking with them. There's a lot of things that people don't understand that go into producing something. We say, like with this show, there's a lot of stuff that there's 2 or 3 days of prep work just to do this show. Can you imagine when you're doing this belt, and how many years that you have done this, and how many time and invested and taken away from your family and money out of your pocket to do the things that you do? People don't understand that. And I've said that from watching it all from behind, you've taken the hobby to a new level for what you've produced, and the amount of the cost that you're getting, because people don't understand that if you went to Crumb Ryan to try to get that, you'd be in the $12,000 range. And for what you're doing now and what you're producing and the love that you have of it, you're so based on the history of the belt. I want people to know about the belt, read the book, know what makes this belt special and why it's probably the greatest. And you can put whatever other world title you belt, but it's probably the most recognizable and the most distinguished championship belt of all time. And that's a matter for debate. But as far as what it took to make that and make the original one, there's nothing that can touch it. And even Reggie has said it's the original is the most spectacular belt he had ever seen, and what it took to make it. And it's incredible. And your time to come on this program, we enjoy it too. But I wanted to ask you, wrestling today. We wanted to talk about this for a little bit. What are your views, and what do you watch today? What's Colin watch when he turns on and says, I want to watch some wrestling? What do you watch?
Well, I mean, a bit of both, because when I try to watch some of the WWE and things like that, because WrestleMania is coming back on, and I want to know what's going on in case customers that are asking things like that. I find that the characters that in the 80s and before, they tried to load the lid on kayfabe, there were real characters, as in every single person, like, let's say Macho Man, this guy's unbelievable, there's no one like him, or Sensational Sherry, when she would do something, and act, it's just like, oh, geez, it's got a lasting impression on you. It's like, wow, these are characters, these are, out of this world kind of people, and that's what I want to see. It intrigues me. Whereas these days, the couple of guys, are okay. Like Roman Reigns, when he talks, that's bigger than life kind of person. Mm-hmm. CM Punk, those guys, are quite. They're quite genuine. Not as exciting, but genuine. Well, maybe, who knows? But then the rest of them sound like a bunch of whiners. You know, like I'm sitting there. Well, Seth Rollins, he's a great wrestler. I like enjoying him. I got his figure and all that. But when he goes on a rant, it sounds like a little, you know, it sounds like having a hissy fit, you know.
But isn't that what it's supposed to do? Isn't that making you? That's drawing your emotions in. Like when we watched it growing up, like when I was watching Ric Flair complain and whine, and Arn Anderson complain and whine. That's what made you hate him and want to knock him out.
Yeah, but that's hate, not annoyance. You know what I mean? They're doing the job. They're doing the right thing. K-Pub's working, but these guys just like for instance, the women's division at times, right? Rhea, all right, she's got an Aussie accent and things like that. But when she's in a room, I'm kind of scared of her. That's what I want, right? And you got Charlotte, and you got what's her face, Tiffy time. I mean, if she didn't
I want to ask about that. Did you guys catch that last night or the other night?
I think he's talking about that. Yeah, last night.
Okay.
The Tiffany and the tell us what you thought about that, Colin, last night, because I thought it was.
Yeah, I didn't see the Ripley bit. I just started to watch what Tiffy talking back to Charlotte.
Yeah, tell us what you thought about that.
Well, they cut it out.
Oh, they cut it out. Okay.
Apparently Apparently, I was reading online that they cut the 0-3 out.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a bit silly.
That's was completely off script.
Yeah. Well, you take it a step further. But see, I hate how the scripts are written. Right?
Yes.
Because they reference like what it was reality TV or something, right? So it's like it's not a character. It's not like, you know, someone out of this world, because that's what wrestling was, right? So okay, you may say the cool things, right? But you say enough of them, it just sounds like whining to me. You know, it's like when you watch TikTok and all of a sudden you have these influencers talking about how to be women talking about how to be kind to men and what we like and things. That sounds nice for the first 2 minutes, but then after 20 minutes of this stuff, it still sounds like nagging. You know, and that's what I'm starting to see. It's like give them something different, make some different characters.
I liked what I saw with the real emotion, but I know this. I think that comes with just this generation of people. They're so quick to get mad, to get this, or so they get that, you know, triggered or so upset. I think Charlotte picking on her voice sent her over the plateau. And my thing is, this is why scripted crap messes up, because when one person goes off, it can throw the whole bit off to where you get some stuff that, yeah, this is great. Everybody's talking about it. But these two people are from what everybody's reporting, are really mad at each other for some of the stuff that they said. This is why I hate these in-ring. I don't like these in-ring things where it's talking for 10 or 15 minutes. I'm tired of that. Get an interview person, interview them like we used to do, and then move on with the wrestling match. But if you're going to do that, you're going to get more of these moments. But I think she's very weak on the mic as far as the Tiffany. I think she's very weak on the mic. She had a strong point for what she said, but she should have said that and stayed in the ring instead of dropping them and then running. And then what was said was kind of over the line too. These people don't have those. That's just generation of wrestlers. They don't have that professionalism between each other, knowing beforehand, this is a work. Stick to the work and don't take our personal lives into it.
Yeah, because they have the gift of the gab. They need the gift of the gab. You know, like in the old days, you can pull out a promo. You know, people work on what they're going to say. You know, and they have something ready for anything. Like Roddy would have a book full of zingers to say, right? And he'd made them up himself, right? You don't have that freedom anymore. You don't have that creativity anymore. And if you did, you'd be squashed. So it's like that in music. It's like that in wrestling. The whole thing. It's like the organization needs to screw the artist before the artist screws them.
Right. Yeah. The 15-minute ring promo. I'm just tired of the matches, and nobody and somebody said this beforehand. I don't know who it was. Said you know, they're not actors. They're wrestlers. Stop trying to make them be actors and let them go back to being wrestling. Do an interview where the interviewer is controlling that and can, if anything messes up, can feed off of that. When these two mess up or go off a script when it's got to be 15 minutes long, or the crowd riles you and gets you the wrong way, oh well, then you better be ready. But like I said again, I think it's this generation of wrestler that's so easily triggered because they read everything online. They're so touchy about everything in their life. Well, that's what happens when you put your personal life out there 24/7 on Twitter and whatever in kayfabe. You didn't have that with it because everybody didn't put their business out there. The more you put out there, the more you're making yourself get hurt. So if stuff doesn't hurt you, then don't put it out there. That's what I say to it. But I think these two went over the line, and we're being told that it's not scripted. Well, then WWE better take a reset of how they're doing their stuff. And unless I think WWE's like, oh, we love this, get it. Well, that leads to somebody getting hurt in the ring.
I was going to say it'll make the match more interesting.
Yeah. Because there's been that times back in the kayfabe days, you messed up, you were going to pay in the ring.
That's right.
You screwed up during that, you were going to pay. I mean, they Andre the Giant would beat you blue. Arn Anderson would beat you blue. You know, those wrestlers didn't play around in that day. And I think you can't do that in today's wrestling with some of the stuff that they do. But, you know.
I think kayfabe is more alive now than ever. Everyone's a character. The moment the screen turns on, you're a character. You know, it's not what you are in your personal life. It's a different thing. Yeah.
What's wrong with Charlotte Flair's look? What has happened to her? What's wrong with her face? What's wrong with her? I don't know what's going on for her. She went from looking one way to now she looks.
She looks like Rick now. She looks like Rick.
A lot of Botox and a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah. It does.
It's leathery Ric Flair now, which is cool. You know, she got the same.
You're gonna have to start sending her face to the Collins leather guy.
Thank you. I am. I'm doing okay. I'll talk about it at the end of the show. We got some things to do. I'll let you know what's going on with my health. We're gonna have to roll back just a bit. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, it's just I don't know what she's done to herself, but I just thought that was interesting. So, do you watch AEW any?
A little bit. We got to pay for that here, so we don't really.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Some sort of other streaming channel and things.
On Max to get it on Max. Yeah. Okay, I understand that. So with that, and you know what's WrestleMania? What are you looking for? Do you know some of the matches? Do you know some of the matches that are going to happen? What do you think about the world title match, the 3-way match? What do you think is going to happen with that?
Well, the Cody was it Cody and not Cody. Is it a 3-way match? Like is the world title? Or is it the Universal?
No, that's the 3-way match, not the match between Seth Rollins. Help me out with my head, Ethan.
Seth Rollins
and
Roman Reigns and CM Punk.
Yeah,
there you
go. Well, they're three performers that you can trust. You know, those three guys can carry the show. You know, I think that's making up for things like Uso and Gunther. You know. It's making up, you know, maybe for even Cody and Cena, unless Austin does a run-in, you know.
I've said that. I've said that on the show. This is the time. I feel you're at a flat. You're flat going into this WrestleMania. You need something big. Austin's not. He's right next door, and he's been saying that a couple times, and he said it now publicly on interviews. Hey, I'm right there if you need me. It would be the perfect thing. If The Rock is intervening in some way and it looks like he's going to get pinned and all of a sudden you hear that splat, boy, I tell you, I'd jump up and punch. I'd slap my cat across the room. I heard that because you want it. You need that. And I think it would be great to see him come down and intervene and be like, you know, I took care of it. You got your reign, whether you want to see him on the reign or not, or if you want to see, I think seeing a Cena champion would be a drop, and then keeping what's his name champion. And what you could do is you could have him drop it on Monday night if you didn't want to keep the title reign going with him. Drop it on a Monday Night Raw or something after WrestleMania. Make something big happen. I'd like to see more titles dropped on the shows instead of all this 15 minutes to come out, 15 minutes to talk in the ring. We're not getting matches. But So are you still?
I'm going to enjoy it for what it is. To me, I think they're just burning what resources they've got, rather than making new resources. Like it's in terms of character and stories and something intriguing. It's just like, okay, we haven't done Cena turn heel before. Okay, let's do that, because we've got nothing else we can do. Last time it was about, okay, let's bring the, let's have all these run-ins and The Rock carry it. So you still got the old characters carrying the brand. There's no, they're not strong enough to have Cody or Jay Uso or whatever carry the company. You still got to. You need these run-ins all the time. That's a bit of work they need to. They need to do.
It just makes for it to where Rock. You didn't know Rock was going to intervene, and then all of a sudden you think that's it, and then the double take that you didn't think was coming. Here comes Stone Cold. I think it was great, and I think to me. And Ethan, I'll let you talk on this. For me, I think it's flat going into there. It's because I think it's getting stale that every Monday Night Raw and every SmackDown, it's the top 3 people constantly. It's the same 5 people, I guess you should say, every single week, every single time. I think you can give more people time off and get more of your roster in with making the Intercontinental more prestigious, the U.S. title more prestigious, get into true tag team wrestling again. If you start using, I think I'm flat on it just because I'm burnt out of every week seeing the same people over and over again. How many times can we get Cena and Cody in the ring talking for 10 minutes? I'm tired of it. I'm done with them talking. Great. Let me see a match. That's what I'm kind of tired of, and that's why I got a little bit of flat. But that's just my opinion. Ethan, what do you think?
No, and I agree. I think it's really flat, and I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Even if back in the day, you had that pre-WrestleMania match where they wasn't for the title or something, something where they had him in the ring wrestling, and for us, we're pining on Stone Cold coming back because, like you said, you're not seeing the LA Knights and stuff like that. They're all just kind of buried and flat right now. You're not.
Yeah, where is it?
It's constant. It's constant. Roman, Cody, Cena, Rollins, Punk. That's all it is. That's their show.
Yeah, and I think those days when the card was just great so down because you built those storylines up. You had time invested in it. You're only invested in the top 2 matches of each day, and it's just to me it's just lacking. And I don't, and I think the problem in AEW is everybody looks the same for AEW. I think everybody the same style of wrestler, same type of wrestler for AEW.
What's the women's division in AEW like? Is that a dog's breakfast too, or
it's just between 2 girls? It's all around just one girl. Timeless Tony Storm. It's revolved around her. Great character or whatever. But again, if you're focusing on that every single week, waking on and out, 2 years or a year, and not breaking it up, and then you got the other girl that people don't like, who's got every belt but a world title. You put all your titles on one person, it's not going to build anything up. I'd like to see some of these. Wrestling needs to build up their titles, as prestigious as you want it. You carry it like that. It's prestigious because of who held it. You want that title. I'd like to see some middleweights or the cruiserweight come in, because everybody can't be a world champion just because of your body look and your body type. I mean, are we going to put the world WWE title on or the world title on Yeet guy? I mean, who looks out of shape, who looks tired, who seems spent. Is he going to be your world title? I get everybody likes the song, but I don't want to hear he deserves it. That is such a participation trophy crap thing. I'm tired. You deserve it. Participation. Ethan, what's your take? Can you put Yeet the title on him?
I don't want to see Yeet. I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I don't even know who the U.S. champion is right now. Who is the U.S. champion? So I'm going over the titles, and I'm like, I don't even know who the U.S. champion is. I don't know who the men's tag team champions are.
Because they don't focus on it. You win it, and then it's done. It's a 5-minute match, and then you don't hear from them again. They don't build anything up. It's like, we're coming into the ring tonight. It's going to be a tag team match between you that doesn't even have a history to it. And that's your world tag team titles. You could give people time off and extend your storylines so much more by this Raw tonight. We're focusing a lot on the tag team division and some of the other things. And Cody can have the night off. Your world title guy can have the night off. Or he's there and he just does a 2-minute interview in the back. You know, that type of thing.
Do you think this flatness or the exhaustion is because they've overcomplicated wrestling and made it into a soap opera rather than concentrating on a competition with people's, I would say personal or characters or the personal ambitions represented in interviews like it used to be? Mm-hmm. Like right now, it just looks like, okay, where do I fit into the next reality TV story?
Yeah, but you put on it. Can you remember some of the Rika runs? I mean, people look at who's that guy that's got the concave chest or whatever, the smaller guy on it. People laugh at that. You don't want your world title reign to kind of be laughed at, because I think he could have been held in such high regards if you had put the Intercontinental title on Uso and made a great run of the Intercontinental champion of him. I mean, being Intercontinental champion is not, people need to stop looking at it as some downgrade thing. I mean, that's it's a prestigious title. Some of the best wrestlers of all time have held that and never been world champions.
Growing up, that's what I wanted to be, because everybody knew Hulk Hogan was going to lose the title. Up until WrestleMania 6, everybody knew Hulk Hogan was going to lose the title. So I wanted to be the Intercontinental champion. I want, you wrestling the Macho Bands and everybody,
Yes. So, Sami Zayn has the same match every single time. He's on his deathbed when he pins the other guy. He gets completely beat up, and he's every single match is the same with him. And that's what I'm talking about. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't think a 3-hour show is great either. If you're going to be revolving around 4 people or 5 people all the time. I think it kind of desensitizes things to everybody. No, I mean, if that's the way you feel. I mean, it's the workhorse title was that, and people were like, no, we don't need more titles, and to make your eye see that. I don't see anything wrong with having a television title that's not fought for at your pay-per-views. It's only fought for on TV each week. And you got you got your 10 minutes to pin the guy, or he retains the belt like the TV title used to be. It's not that we have enough titles; it's that you're not making the other titles as prestigious as you need to be. And that can do a lot of things with your guys on your roster, I think. And I just wish we'd get back to calling the match in ring, but I know that's not going to happen. But are you still working to get your belt with somebody there in Australia? Can you explain that a little bit? I had that question in my inbox.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm always I've got a good partner in terms of Cam Vale from OPW, MLW, and things like that. It's basically the big goal lends itself to being, a really good world international title, that's outside of WWE. So that's probably, we've tried it a couple of times. Originally Conrad was going to use it for Starcast and things like that, but there wasn't any wrestling in the Chicago Starcast, and then they decided, no, let's make it a little bit more special. So basically, as you see, a lot of the indie wrestling promotions may end up working together and amalgamating or having partnerships. We do a lot of that in outside of America, so like Canada, Australia, Asia, and things like that. Once there's an opportunity to have something of like a world tournament sort of thing, you may very well see the big gold belt return.
Outstanding. I mean, I'm excited for it, and we're going to let you get out of here. Is there anything else that you wanted to let us know? If you want to talk with Colin more, go for it. C4 Authentic Belts on the Facebook page. Join up there. Do know that page is all about the C4 Authentic Belt, and that belt. It's not for posting other type things. It's all about the C4 and the updates and pictures of the belts that he produces and new things that are happening with that. And then if you're looking for more information on ordering the belt, the easiest thing to go to is c4authenticbelts.com. Check them out over there. That has the pricing, ordering information. It gives you a lot of information on the belt, but then you can also hit up Colin on his messenger. But keep in mind, he is on Australia, so you might have a delay in getting it, and the man also works for a living. So give him 48 hours at least to get back to you, and this, that, and the other for that. But is there anything else that you want to let us know? And a time frame for when you and Groovy may have an announcement for us, and would you come and do it on our show when it happens?
Yeah, definitely. So Groovy's probably a few more months to put his fine tunings on how it's going to be a very very limited offer. There's only going to be a handful of these belts made, and it's made with the original artwork from Reggie. It's not going to be WWE because we don't want all the legal problems or anything like that.
Right.
But
there you go, Mendoza.
It's coming. Something quite exclusive. That's answering Mendoza's question too.
Yep.
So that'd be quite interesting. I'm actually quite interested to see what comes out of it. We're going to probably use an Australian leather maker to put the leather on that as well. One of the cool things is we had a similar belt made with the original artwork for Reggie at Starcast Down Under, and that belt had the most second to our belts, it had almost the same amount of interest as it did the big gold. So that's something quite exciting to hang out for, and it's one of, outside of WWE, give you a hint, it's one of the belts most people really treasure outside of the big gold. Okay, so that's a good one.
Yep.
And then to contact me on the website, when you click contact, that goes directly to my number. So when you click that button, it goes directly to my WhatsApp, so we can talk on there anytime you like. And that's feel free to drop me a line. When I have the time, I don't mind to chat with you and things like that as well. It's
right.
more about and if you need help to prepare, like if you want to learn about the belt, things like that, before you buy, get the book, but at the same time, I'll steer you in the right direction so you get the best experience of it.
Yeah, for everybody, for everybody knows that I'll definitely be burning my credit card on it, and there'll be one here and there'll be one back there, God willing, still around, but there'll be one here. I'll be definitely lining up to do this and to see it, and I can't wait to see this stuff. And congratulations just on all your success, what you've brought to the hobby, the things you do. I'm so thankful for your time to come on here. You're also always welcome back, even if we're doing just a wrestling chat or just a talk. You can always come in. Yes, please give Colin that the DDK, as we call it, and thank him for his time coming on here. We're appreciative of it. Thank your family for the time of lending you out to come on the show today. Ethan.
And thank Groovy also for coming on. You guys are spectacular, and we appreciate you coming on and lending your expertise and letting the people that watch just kind of get the inside trade and the inside secrets of what's going on. It's spectacular. We appreciate it.
Yeah, because you are getting a flare made belt. You're having that person make it, and you got to watch for that on his Facebook, on C4 Authentic Belts Facebook page. Watch for that. You are doing that.
Yeah. So I went Yeah, there's not enough time to talk about the robe and things like that. But
we can save that for maybe next time. But that's something that's incredible. You got to watch for that on the updates on there.
There's always, I don't give all the secrets away. So for every secret I give you, there's another 5 or 10 more
nuggets.
So,
stay here. We'll always have him on. We'll always drop it here. We're always a friend of Colin, and we thank him for doing that and using our platform to put it out there on YouTube. And make sure you guys go over join C4 Authentic Belts on Facebook and check it out. Colin, thank you so much for your time, and I love you, brother. And stay healthy. And we'll keep you on our prayers too. I know you've had a couple little things go on, and we're still praying for you. And stay positive. Tell the wife and the kids that KD from NC said hello.
Oh,
and if you have to get out of Australia, you're coming to Daybreak Farm and you're living here.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care, Colin. We'll see you.
All right, take care, everyone.
Colin,
Thank you.
C4 Authentic Belts. Just a class act. Just 100% class act. The guy is just unbelievable. He's a great guy. Such a humble person too. Humble person.
People.
Yeah, we got just a couple minutes left. I wanted to get to just a couple things real quick before we let everybody get out of here, because we have a spectacular picture of the week. The picture of the week comes to us all the way down there on Australia. He just finished up this belt. He is a leather guy. Take a look from Chris Burns. Take a look at that.
Beautiful.
Isn't that incredible?
That is beautiful. I like it.
He did the leather on that belt. Took that picture. Phenomenal picture. Absolutely stunning belt. I think that's just an outstanding belt he's got there. And I was glad that he posted that up and shared that with us. And I need to show this too, if I can come down here, and we'll get this one up here. As you know, this guy also has something from the DDK belt for you guys for sale from Chris. He has this little bit right here for sale. We're taking a looking at this belt right here from Chris Simmons. He has a Figures Inc. version 1 undisputed belt, and it is re-leathered by the one and only Reggie Parks. So if you're interested in that belt, and that is shipped, and he's all the way in Australia. I've done business with Chris. Great guy, great leather guy. Just phenomenal, beautiful leather work that he does. Kind person too, very humble. Great guy too. Chris Simmons. If you look him up on YouTube, Facebook, and on Messenger, that's the photo there. You'll look for what he has on his avatar picture or Facebook picture, and you can get more pictures of the belt right there and see everything. And he'll answer any questions you got. But it's a Figures Inc. version 1 on Reggie Parks leather, and that is for $1,100 shipped. So we thank him for sharing that with us. Do you have anything before we get out of here? Anybody else have anything before we tell everybody good go?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
All right. Well, we've done it. I did want to let everybody know. I have a procedure to do, so we're not going to have a show for the next 2 weeks. Okay. So we're not having a show next Saturday or the one after that. We will return to the program here, God willing, on April the 26th. So no show for the next 2 weeks. Sorry about that. but got to do what we got to do, and all that kind of stuff. But on April 26th, we got a great guest you don't want to miss. JC Figs from Instagram. Great guest. Check him over on Instagram and see what he's all about. We're going to have him on then, and it'll be the week after WrestleMania, so we'll be talking all the WrestleMania and all the stuff that happened and all the stuff that went on. So it'll be a great time to check out that. Ethan, I'm going to let you get out of here, buddy, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, but I'll be talking to you all the time, man.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
Mr. Ethan Thompson. So I want to thank everybody for tonight's show. We had a great time. I'm sorry that Drip wasn't able to come on here. He was fatigued and tired, so maybe we'll do another round table with him. But thanks so much to Groovy G for his time on his vacation, for coming with us. And as always, for Colin coming on the show and giving his time. It was great. But remember, we'll see you in 2 weeks. So it'll be, actually 3 weeks. So no show for the next 2 weeks, but April 26th, Double Dropkick will come back and we'll blow up a Saturday night. And I want to hear everybody's thoughts on the WrestleMania and how everything went and all that stuff. It's going to be a fun time. You guys enjoy WrestleMania, enjoy one another, enjoy the hobby, be kind to one another, be slow to anger. When you see those new belt days, tell those guys congrats. It's always good. It makes you feel good when everybody's thanking you and appreciative of you sharing all the pictures. Post up. Also, you cannot forget to each week tune in to Spanning the Globe podcast every Thursday nights, 7 Central. Mark, Andy, Richard, Ben, and Mark do a great job over there. You got to check them out each and every week. Hey, check out Double Drop Kick. We're over on Instagram at Double Drop Kick Podcast, and we're on Twitter at DDK Podcast on Twitter. Also, check out Hammer, Stephen Hammer Wrestling Belt Reviews, one of the best to do it. There's a bunch of other guys that do it, from Talmadge to David Babel does it. A lot of great guys, so support them out there. It's always great what they do. But I thank each and every one of you for tuning in this week, and I love each and every one of you, and I will see you on April 26th with JC Figs. So as always, remember, stay kind, stay humble, and we'll see you April 26th right here. DDK Saturday Night Double Drop Kick. Good night, everybody.